So why did my film cost $20,000 to make? Well, I have the full budget right here in front of me, and today I'm gonna break it all down in this video. Let's run the numbers.
That big block look right here. Here we go, rolling, sound, roll camera.
So before we fully dive into the budget here, I do want to use this moment as a disclaimer. Yes, I spent a lot of money on this short film, and you're going to see why here in a second, but I've also made short films for practically nothing, right? Free, $500, under $1,000. Many of my short films have been done for practically nothing or cost me very little. But this one in particular, there's a lot of reasons why it did cost so much. And so I'm gonna break that down, but I don't want these numbers to be like discouraging to you and like I don't have that much money, I can't go make a short film. You absolutely can. You don't need a huge budget to go make a short film. I've made, like I said, plenty of short films on very little to no budget. But in this one in particular, you'll see why. There's just a lot of costs that I could not get away from in order to bring this film to life. Or I could have done it much cheaper, or at least for on a tighter budget. But I really want to use this film as a calling card for my skills as a director, but also the idea I have for this film for a feature film. So I was like, if I'm going to spend the time, money, and effort, and energy already to like make this film, I really want to make it sing, and I want to put my all into it. So I did spend a good amount of my own money to bring this film to life. And yeah, I just wanted to say that to not discourage you guys from going to make your own film. First and foremost, the location. Nearly $5,000 at 4,900. This was a location that I've been wanting to shoot this short film at for a while now. It is an actual camp just outside LA. Rented it and booked it through Gigster, which is one of the two platforms that I use to book locations, either Peerspace or Gigster. Gigster tends to be a little more expensive and have some more high-end locations and people that have their locations on there. But the whole idea and ethos of the feature film as well as the short film is that it takes place at a camp. And though the short film was based around this pool, just because that was going to be the easiest way to get my idea across instead of like a lake or an ocean or you know, a body of water like that, I just saw the camp. I saw that the pool that was at this camp, and I was like, the movie has to be shot here. I have a film location with a pool, so in theory, it's like I could have saved right off the bat here $5,000, and that's not even getting into all the permit fees coming up. I could have saved $5,000 right off the bat just shooting it at my house with the pool, but it's like I wanted to paint this world. I had this idea. It needed to feel like it was a camp, and this was happening at a camp. A lot of the dialogue that happens is talking about the camp. And so to just film this at some pool somewhere in someone's backyard just didn't feel right. And so unfortunately, to book that location out for, I think we had a total of somewhere between 8 and 10 hours, cost nearly $5,000. But with some locations, when you're doing bigger shoots like this, or just some locations in general, regardless of the size of the shoot, you need permits. And unfortunately, for this shoot, I needed a permit. So the permit application fee itself through Film LA was nearly $1,000. And that's not something you can negotiate. It's just like, hey, to apply to get this permit, this is the cost. And so I had to pay Film LA $1,000 or nearly $1,000, $971 to apply to get that permit. From there, there's other fees associated with that permit, a total of $807 in permit fees. So because it was like a quiet, sensitive neighborhood, technically, we had to do a survey. And so we paid this survey service to go around and let people know we're filming on this day and time, and is it okay? And so there was just, and there's some other little fees associated with that. So, you know, you're looking at right now, location, all in, location, permit application, and fees, nearly $7,000. So a good chunk of that $20,000 film budget was the location itself. So if you were to strip that location away and I would have shot it at my location with a pool, I could have saved $7,000, and that $20,000 budget goes down to $13,000 like that. So the location was a huge part of the budget of this film, but I needed to shoot there, wanted to shoot there, so we did. Next up on the budget list, the G&E Gaffer Grip Swing. This was our G&E package plus 3 core crew members, Gaffer, Grip, and Swing to operate and set up those lights for the DP Taylor. So yeah, 3 core crew members, as well as just our G&E package, grip and electric. So all of our lights and different things, that was a total of $3,515. Not much you could do there. I believe even some of those crew members were doing the DP a favor and came in under what their normal rate would be. So appreciate that team for being so great and helpful. And again, with being this big open camp site and space, we really needed a good G&E team to really light the space. We couldn't just like pop up to that location, especially if I'm spending that much money on the location with just like a couple lights. And it needed the proper equipment and team to do that. So yeah, that team cost $3,500. Next up, camera rentals and gear. Fortunately enough, got a pretty good deal there as well. We shot on the Arri 35, new Arri 35, beautiful camera, very expensive camera, as well as these Zelmus Apollo anamorphics. Beautiful, very expensive lenses, and just the camera package itself. There was a whole prep day, you know, just between the camera and all the bells and whistles for that and the lenses and whatnot. Yeah, that was a $800 fee. That was unavoidable. Again, could have shot it with my own camera, but I was already, like I said, spending the time and money to make these things happen. Might as well just take it there and go further. And honestly, I think this was a good deal for that camera package. So appreciate Taylor for making that happen and hooking that up, because the camera package we had should have definitely cost more than $800. Sound is next on the list at $735. So for the sound, boom op and his kit fee, $735. Gotta have, I mean, sound is so important. I've done some short films where the audio's been kind of sus, and it's like, that's 50% of your movie, 50% of your video, whatever it is that you're doing. Sound is so important. So it was important to have a good sound op. I wasn't just gonna lob these actors up myself and have Zoom recorders or have a homie op in a boom pole. I wanted to make sure we did it right and had an actual, you know, sound tech on site. And so that cost $735. Next, the first AC, the camera AC, which is actually not on here. We had a second AC too. So we had a first AC and second AC. First AC is $500. I'm not sure what the second AC costs. I'm not sure why it's not on the budget here, but we did have two ACs. So the first AC is obviously helping Taylor with all of the lens swaps, pulling focus, camera build, making sure the camera is all set and good, and taking care of camera. And then the second AC is, you know, you'll see in the behind the scenes running the slate and just helping with the other aspects of what it takes to run the camera department. So first and second AC, I think probably actually totaled over $750. I know right here we just have AC at $500. So this budget, and there's things going to be on this budget that honestly probably didn't really get factored in that push it over 20. And I haven't even done post on my film yet. So if I do get someone to score it and color it, there will be some post budget items that aren't attributed on this budget. So hair and makeup was $350. Had to have hair and makeup on site. You know, always important, have hair and makeup. Keep your actors' talent, especially on a day like that, not sweating, and keep them looking good on camera. Lifeguard, unfortunately, we had to have a lifeguard on site, even though there was no one really in the water or swimming until the very end with the creature. The location demanded it, Film LA demanded it, so it was like part of the location. You had to have a lifeguard on site, so had to pay a lifeguard $300. He had the easiest day of his life being a lifeguard. So the special effects, makeup, and prosthetics was almost $1,200. Every time I've done kind of these creature features or monster short films like After Hours and After Dark, and those short films where you're building a creature, there's a lot of the prosthetics to make those creatures actually cost a lot of money. And then the special effects makeup artists themselves has a pretty good day rate. So yeah, for this film to create the creature or to have the makeup artist do the creature and the prosthetics, those are just hard costs of, I think the prosthetics in total were around like 500 or so, and the makeup artist was around 750. But yeah, $1,200 to do the makeup for creature, to have our monster, to have our creature. PAs, We had 2 PAs on site getting 150 bucks a day, so 300 bucks total. Shout out to those PAs, good friends of mine. They came out for probably typically under what you would pay a PA, but appreciate those PAs for working hard for us. That cost 300 on the day. The pool platform and fish tank I think was around, 100 or so bucks, as well as the platform. Those were non-negotiables for me. I wanted to do this fish tank camera trick that I did years and years ago, where I didn't want quite an underwater camera shot, nor did we have budget for an underwater camera shot. So came up with this idea to put the camera in a fish tank to kind of get this underwater look. Worked really well. Wanted to bring that back in this, so had to go buy a fish tank from like Petco. And then the pool platform we actually found on like OfferUp and rented it from the guy for like 100 bucks, 150 bucks, something like that. To have the monster in the pool to appear like he's floating, because obviously we needed something in the water for him to stand on, because if he's just wading water, you're gonna not only see the disruption in the water, but he's not gonna be still and menacing, because he's gonna be trying to stay afloat. So we had to find a solution to get a platform in there so he could just like kind of raise up out of the water slowly, or just hover there or inch forward. And so that was like a very crucial part. Props, $200, there's little details in there like the dog tags and the flask and whatnot, but $200 for some props. Royal, our lead actress, was $750. We had recently just worked with her on a Prism Lens FX shoot, and when I needed an actress for this, Sam, the producer, actually brought her up and said, yo, Royal can actually act. I think she would look really good alongside Kyle, because I had the idea of having Kyle star as the lead. She sent a self-tape reading the script, and I was just like, boom, that's it, done. So Royal killed it, did a great job, $750 for her. The monster, $500. Peyton played the monster, the creature, and had to pay him $500. That was his rate to come play the creature. He had experience playing other like monsters and creatures, and I think he's also a dancer. So usually dancers are really good at playing creatures just because they're good with their body movement. But yeah, $500 for the monster. We had kid talent, a couple kids at 200 bucks for the day, which is 400 total. For the opening scene of the film, where wanted to create a little bit of a camp element and vibe. So we had some kids running through the frame. So 2 kids at $200, $400 for the kids. Wardrobe, merch, and shirts. I had custom wardrobe and camp shirts made with my own kind of logo, design, and wording on it to, further sell this idea of the camp. And then there was obviously also other wardrobe to set it back in kind of that late 80s, early 90s era, where cargo pants and Vans and tube socks and whatnot. So all of the wardrobe on screen was around 550 bucks for not only the custom camp shirts, but then some of the other auxiliary things for Kyle and Royal, like the tube socks and the cargo pants and shoes and whatnot. That leads into the merch artwork, which was $100. So just got a friend to do the graphic for the merch, for the shirt, for the camp shirt, camp logo. Wardrobe, $275. So sorry, this is separate. The merch shirts alone, the custom printed merch shirts, were $550. The wardrobe, the auxiliary items, the socks, the shoes, the pants, the head dressings, bandanas, etc., was $275. The van PA pickup and drop off was $450. We needed a lot of like tables and chairs for the crews and crafty and hair and makeup and different things. So we actually had a service that picks up and drops off a bunch of like tables and chairs and things. So we had I think it was PA Nation, $450 for the driver, the delivery, the pickup, and the rental of the tables and chairs and different things themselves. So film this, I'm not quite sure what that is, $650. That actually might be the survey. So the permit application, permit fees up top are different from the survey. I'm pretty sure the film this is the survey. So $650 for the survey. They gave us the option to do it ourselves, but we didn't have the time or desire to go do that. So we hired their service to do that survey. Production insurance, actually just used my friend's production insurance on this. So I threw him $350 to use insurance to do, camera rentals and lens, just all of the stuff that was needed for this project. Most of the time, you know, if you're doing a project kind of this size with this many moving pieces and rentals and things, you're going to need production insurance. So just used my buddy's production insurance, threw him 350 bucks. Barber, $250. We actually, this is kind of a mishap, but we were supposed to have a barber come on site to just kind of clean up Kyle, and he actually had gotten a haircut and a beard trim prior to showing up, and we still had to pay the barber regardless. So I ended up just getting my beard trimmed up on set. But yeah, we can't hire him, have them show up and not pay them. So still had to pay the barber $250 to come on site for that. Crafty and meals, $833. You know, there was probably 2 meals, one when they arrived and then one later in the afternoon, evening. Lots of crafty for the whole crew and cast. And yeah, that ended up totaling, you know, we had a decent sized crew. I want to say 25 people. So yeah, unfortunately with that many people over the course of a hot, long day, lots of food, water, meals, etc. So $833 for all that. And then my producer, Sam, shout out to Sam King. This project would not have happened without him whatsoever. He was absolutely so instrumental in this, and he never up front was just like, yo, what am I getting paid? I'm gonna make sure to take care of him. I actually gave him a good production gift. He always wanted this Yeti cooler, and so I got him that Yeti cooler. But yeah, I'm gonna take care of him. Not sure what we're gonna do, if I'm gonna shoot him a bunch of videos or if I'm we'll decide on a number, but Sam really tremendously helped with this and putting it all together. So couldn't have done this film without Sam King. So thank you, Sam. The last thing that's not on here is Kyle. The other lead is a good friend of mine. Didn't pay him. He didn't ask to be paid. He's a very talented, obviously music artist, but also very talented actor. Has been in some movies. We've been talking recently about how he wants to do more acting. And I was like, yo, I really want to do this short. I think he'd be perfect for it. Sent him the script. He wanted to do it. So Kyle graciously offered his talents to this film, and I didn't have to pay him, but again, best believe like I'm going to return the favor when he needs me for something. So thank you to Kyle for being a part of this film, because he killed it. But yeah, that pretty much breaks down the budget of my short film. There's probably some other costs that push that over 20. And then again, if I have someone color it or do a custom score, sound design on the back end, that number will certainly cross over 20. I'm trying to do as much of the editing, coloring myself. So we'll see where everything lands with the film. But yeah, I'll be premiering the short film at the top 10 screening party and award night for my horror film contest, along with your guys' top 10 films. And it's gonna be a great night, very excited. There's a full behind the scenes video breaking this short film kind of down and watching us make it, a making of, if you will, that's live on the Prism Lens FX YouTube channel right now. This is the budget breakdown. We'll have some other videos coming forward, such as, you know, we want to do a cinematography breakdown. And if you guys have any cool ideas or thoughts about like what you would like to see, you know, come from this film or us talk about in relation to this film, yeah, please let us know in the comments below, and we can maybe talk about making a video of it. Because yeah, maybe you see something in the behind the scenes where you're like, yo, talk about that. So please let us know. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful to see and kind of get a picture of why my film costs what it did.